Okay, so today I'm going to talk about one of the reasons why you can build muscle, and that's very high volume. So, a lot of people push very high volume as a very good training approach. I've seen a lot of studies showing that, the 52 set study, it showed better gains compared to the lower volume groups. And here's the thing, high volume is not always the right approach to build a lot of muscle. It's just a tool in the toolbox, and you need to know when to use that tool. And this tool, the high volume, you can't use it all the time, or you need to know when to use that tool, the high volume, because high volume has a lot of problems when you use that approach. One of the problems that you're going to get from very high volume is not being able to recover from your training. So here's what's going to happen when you're not able to recover from your training. You won't be able to really do very high quality volume. Doing a lot of volume, you're probably going to train a little bit more lazy, because you know that you have to do a lot of sets. Probably your frequency is very high too, so you're probably training every day with a lot of volume, and you're kind of being lazy on the first sets, or the later in the workout you're starting to get a little bit lazy. And this is low quality volume, and low quality volume doesn't really build a lot of muscle, to be honest. It's just like a warm-up, and warm-up sets, they don't build muscle, and you know that. Everyone knows that. So when you're doing low quality sets, that's something like warm-up sets, and they're not building muscle. So you need to make sure that you're training hard enough to really benefit from that high volume. And like I said, high volume is not the only way to build a lot of muscle. Like I already told you, it's just a tool in the toolbox, and you need to know when to use that tool to really benefit from that high volume training. And a lot of people really push the high volume training, maybe for a reason, they have their own reasons, but it's just, like I already said, it's just two in the toolbox. You can be training with very high volume year round, because you're going to run into a lot of problems. Again, the low quality training, you're just doing a lot of warm-up sets, and if you're training like that with low quality sets, you're basically doing a lot of warm-up sets and it's still low volume, and you're just wasting your time. I don't see the point. If you're not training hard enough, you're not really activating the fast twitch muscle fibers, the upper threshold muscle fibers that have the most potential for size and muscle growth. The slow twitch muscle fibers don't have the size potential, so you're just wasting your time. That's why the lifters with the most muscle mass, they're very strong. They lift very big numbers on the bench press, on the deadlift, the squat, the curl. The lifters with the most impressive lifts, number wise, and obviously not one at max, but they're just strong all around. They have the biggest muscles, the biggest biceps, the biggest chest, legs, the lower body, everything. It's just they're very strong, but it took them years to really build that amount of muscle mass. The second problem that you're going to run into is the overuse. Very high volume is going to create overuse over time, especially if you train heavy. That's why I'm not a big fan of like anything below 10 reps. but even 10 reps might be too heavy if you're very strong. On the bench press, for example, I have some issues doing the 10 to 12 rep range. It's really putting a lot of stress on my tendons, I can feel that. I always had problems with my biceps tendons. Every time I bench press like the 100 kilograms, I get problems. It starts to hurt, and I can't really progress on the bench press, so it's a big issue, the overuse. And there are ways to get around that. But again, if you don't know what you're doing, high volume might not be the right approach for you. I know how to use the high volume approach without creating a lot of overuse, because it's going to happen. You're going to get some overuse, obviously, but again, high volume for you might be, you might feel like high volume is 50 sets, but it's not 50 sets. That's crazy amounts of volume. That's not going to work. You're basically doing all the warm-up sets. You're not doing anything. You're wasting your time. You're going to be better off just lowering the volume, doing less sets, but really push them hard. You're going to build a lot more muscle, waste less time, create less overuse problems. And again, third problem is it's very time consuming. High volume is very time consuming. Imagine doing like 50 sets a week. Even 30 to 40 sets is ultra high volume. And if you don't know what you're doing with your training, don't do so many sets. It's not going to work out for you. You're just going to be doing a lot of warm-up sets because you're just not strong enough to really push. You're very fatigued. You're doing very inferior quality sets at that point, so it's not always the right approach. If you want an online personal trainer, I'm the right choice, and I can help you reach your goals, build that dream physique, and I can help you. Just message me on my email that I'm going to put in the description and in the comments. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching and see you very soon.